Welcome, one and all, to the K.O.E. Nation for a very special Japanese whiskey review. I am your King of Extreme, Phil K.O.E., joined by my indomitable broadcast partner,
the Blendmaster, Tony G. Like, share, subscribe.
Well, you will really like this because this is a blended Japanese whiskey from Nikka Distillery, single malt at Miyagikyo, a product of Miyagikyo, distilled in Japan.
Okay.
45% ABV. This is one that's I've really been looking forward to because there's two house styles to Nikka. There's the peat and the sweet, and this is the sweet.
But I'm all for that.
I will get this open before I start reading the back of it, but I have always been a big fan of Japanese whiskey. Nikka G&G Golden Gold was another great whiskey that I had with my great uncle, who introduced me to single malt Scotch Oban 14.
Yeah.
He also introduced me to Nikka whiskey, Golden Gold, which was one of the best I ever had. We'll see how this one stacks up to that experience.
It's been a minute since we've done a Japanese whiskey.
Yes, we actually did one at the beginning of this year, Kamiki, which was actually pretty good. It had a very cedar forest flavor to it, but this is the famous Nikka Distillery. So Miyagikyo single malt. This is a single malt from the Miyagikyo Distillery, Nikka's second distillery, built in 1969. The founder, Masakataka Takatsuru, chose this site in the mountain of Sendai to contrast with his first distillery, Yoichi, located in the coastal areas. Using less peaty malts and distilled in a pot still heated by indirect steam, Miyagikyo single malt has an elegant fruitiness and a distinctive aroma with a strong sherry cask influence. Well,
nothing you said is offensive to me in any way. It actually sounds quite delightful.
Yeah, I mean, it's pot still, which you love to hear.
Love that.
Love the sherry influence, which I'm already on board.
So much sherry.
And actually, Masakataka Takatsuru chose this type of distillery and this type of still because there's others that are much more efficient, can get a lot more out, but this one gave the specific flavor profile that he wanted. So this is it's
about quality, not quantity. I appreciate that even more.
So I am looking forward to this. I've been looking for this. Actually found it at a local grocery store of all places.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my.
Wow, that has got a great aroma.
It's like a chocolatey sherry.
Like it's very clear, but it has a very powerful aroma. I'm not getting any of that forest, pine, cedar.
I'm getting all chocolate. This is reminding me a lot of Dalmore.
I was going to say it's very Scotch-like in the nose. You definitely get that sherry single malt idea when you smell this. I would never put this to my nose and assume that this was a Japanese whiskey.
Well, a lot of Japanese whiskeys, they developed studying from Scotland. So that's kind of the base, and they built from there.
This is beautiful on the nose.
Yeah, this is a spectacular blend. This is a single malt, so it's from one distillery, but it's a blend of different whiskeys from the same distillery. The Dalmore does the same thing. Glenfiddich, all the big time players in Scotch do the same thing. This one, with Japanese whiskey, they consider a blend to be the peak of engineering. You've done all you can to get the most out of this whiskey. So
I can't put this away from my nose. I'm getting a little bit of a fruit,
chocolatey cherry mostly, and it's not like I'm not getting like orange and marzipan like I do, but there is a fruit influence here. Let's see how it hits the palate though, sir.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Oh wow, a little bit of an oiliness,
honey and tang.
Yeah, there's that lasting effect on the very end. You get a little bit of that pine, but it's very sharp.
I think you just associate that with Japanese.
I do, but you get a little bit
Yeah, but boy,
Instead of peat, you get that.
This is a. I mean, you got a.
It's sharp.
I mean, it's mouth-watering good.
Yeah, it's really sweet on that very front. And then as it evaporates on your tongue almost, it's very sharp and cutting to the point. And the lingering is really actually pretty pleasant overall. I'm very intrigued with this one.
I'm getting like a grapes and honey. Like that's really more of what I'm getting.
Yeah, no, I think you're onto something there. There's a definite honey. Wow.
This is a good dram.
Yeah, this is really nice.
So
maybe like a green grape.
Yeah. Now we're gonna grade this on 4 different scales, and then a secret 5th question. If you don't know what it is, folks, stay tuned here. So we're gonna grade this on 5-star scales. First, we're gonna grade it as a Japanese whiskey, as a whiskey, then as a cask-aged spirit, and it's shelving. And then the secret 5th question. So we've had a couple of Japanese whiskeys. I've had many more than you have.
That's fair.
Granted. But in terms of Japanese whiskey, how would you grade this on a 5-star scale?
This has got a great nose. I can't stop smelling it. It's got a very unique, direct, sharp, sweet, fruity flavor that is really nice. I'm really liking it. 4.5 on a Japanese.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. 4.5 stars. This is top notch. You know, like if I were to be doing this blind and smelling this, I'd be like, oh wow, some of my favorite Highland and some of my favorite Space Side distilleries had a love child.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like,
yeah,
you can't pinpoint this as a Scotch because, like you said, it's a blend, but it's not a Scotch, and you can tell that on the palate towards the end. You might expect maybe a peated Scotch, but it's not peat, obviously.
Yeah, there's no peat here.
No.
Miyagikyo, there's no peat on the grounds even. They make sure.
That lingering peat.
If you want peat, you go to Yoichi, which we'll get into that.
The lingering peat that you get with a peated Scotch is replaced here with that cedar casking, maybe.
Yeah. Well, they don't cedar cask everything. It was just a Kamiki batch.
Right, but I maybe I'm just associating, but that's that only lingering I get here, but it's not offensive in the least.
Yeah, this, like I said, this is just like my favorite Highland distillery and my favorite Space Side distillery just got together one night at a mixer, had a love child, and this was the bouncing baby boy that came about.
Yeah, so, this is really nice.
Oh, marvelous. Now, as a whiskey.
I think this is very, very specific to what you would do with it. And I think that is, just like we're doing it, neat. I don't want to put this on the rocks. I don't want to dilute it. I don't want to cocktail this. I think this is how it should be enjoyed.
So what would you give it on a star scale before I disagree with you, sir?
I'm going to give it 3.75.
3.75 as a whiskey.
I could go higher. Sell me on higher.
Well, I would have to show you some of the research, but folks, if you're here on YouTube, you can also check out. There are several videos dedicated to specific cocktails that can be done with specific Japanese whiskeys to make some really unique flavor experiences. So I think it can be cocktailed, but you got to know what you're doing, and you're going to have to do your homework on it before you start cocktailing this. I wouldn't throw this in with a cola. No. In terms of on the rocks, I think over an ice ball, this would be amazing. And I think this is kind of one of those whiskeys that's intended to be enjoyed over a large ball of ice, so it dilutes at a very slow rate.
It would have to be. And so I wouldn't want to dilute this at all. I like it so much.
Well, yeah, if I had an ice ball and a cup, I would probably enjoy like 2 drams of this on the same ice ball. Just, because that would be the level of low dilution, but cooling off a little bit I'd want. So I'm going to go with 4 as a whiskey. Like I said, it's kind of hard.
That's kind of why I went 3.75, because I knew you were going to go 4.
Yeah. We've done this for a little while, folks. Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is really nice.
Nikka Miyagikyo. Now, as a cask-aged spirit.
I'm actually going to give this 4 because I think, like you said to begin with, the quality of the product, the attention to detail, and the care that they took into making the whiskey, blending the whiskey, and doing it in a specific way, you can tell in spades here that this is taken well care of before it goes out to market. And I think it's really, really good job.
There's a spice on the back I have never tasted before. I can't tell you what it is. There's a spice there that I've never experienced. Yeah. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. And it's not overbearing, but it's just there on the back of your tongue. You're trying to figure it out.
And that's probably what I'm trying to replace the idea of a pine or a cedar with.
Yeah, like
it's a different.
To me, this is a single malt, which is just like most scotches you'd get that are single malt. This is made from malted barley. So
what are you giving this on a cask age?
4, just like you.
Fair.
There's amazing levels of craftsmanship and its casking that go into this, so I got to give it high marks.
There you go.
Now, in terms of shelving, I'm gonna put this on my top shelf.
Yeah, I don't think I could put it on the middle. I mean, it's unique enough. It's obviously pleasant enough. We've given it a high enough review. I would put this on the top.
Yeah, this is. It's going to be tough to unseat this one. I'm putting this on my top.
Yeah.
This is in contention for the Japanese whiskey of extreme.
Yeah, I think this is the front runner.
Who? So the secret question, folks. Tony, this bottle costs $69 plus tax. If you were to find a bottle at this price, would you seek to add it to your collection?
I just might, honestly, because it's different than anything else I have on my shelving right now, but it's really enjoyable. I really like this a lot. I probably would. I'd probably look for it on sale first, but if I couldn't find it on sale immediately, I'd probably just cave.
To give you an idea of how much I like this might be the first time in K.O.E Nation history I might actually finish a dram before the review is done. I usually got quite a bit left over.
Yeah, that's pretty standard for me.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Tony's bottoms up is kind of a positive review.
Yeah, it is. It is.
When this bottle runs empty, which is going to take some time to do so,
yes,
if all trajectories stay the same, this will be the bottle I keep on hand.
There you have it.
So this is quite the whiskey, and it just hits on all the things I like, but with a obsessive level of craftsmanship.
Yeah, the craftsmanship and it's very approachable as far as the Japanese goes. I think this is really nice.
Yeah, this would be one I would introduce people to Japanese whiskey to, and they would actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
And if you were to
this wouldn't turn anybody away.
If you were to not tell them what this was, and you were to pour this to a Scotch snob, they would just be sitting there for 10 minutes like, what is this? Where did this come from? Where did you get that? And just don't tell them where it's from.
Yep.
And you'll just have a great time with them. So, yes, this is quite the Japanese whiskey, Miyagikyo from Nikka Distillery. I would definitely recommend giving it a try if you ever have the chance. So, as we move onward and upward, Tony, as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, thank you for joining us for our review of Nikka's Miyagikyo single malt single malt whiskey, folks. We were here to do it. It's an amazing whiskey. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. Tony, take it away, sir.
The Blend Master approves. Like, share, subscribe. Marvelous product. Love it. Thank you.